Hi, I'm Terry Gillen. I'm here to just give a little rundown on the new kids that are coming through. And that may sound a little odd to some people, but we're really experiencing a shift in the states of consciousness that are incarnating now versus the ones that were incarnating, say, prior to about the mid 80s. Some enlightened souls that would be sort of in a match vibration for vibration of these enlightened beings did come earlier, say, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, because some needed to pave the way for the masses that would be entering. Now we've hit that time between the mid 80s and here and moving forward that we have these beautiful enlightened souls incarnating into our world. And while they are still in baby, little children, teenager, young adult bodies, they are very old souls. They are very intuitive. They are very sensitive to energy. They are very different than the baby boomers and the other generations that came after that. Um, they don't fit well in our school system a lot of times because it's so outdated that it just doesn't fit them. They need to do things in a different way. They're more creative. They need different learning situations. They need different communication styles. They need different disciplinary styles. They need different nutrition. It's fascinating to me how different these people are that are incarnating um, compared to my generation. I'm about to be 59, so I just missed the boomer thing, right? Just by like maybe a year or so. And the generations ahead of me, these vibrate at a higher frequency, if that makes sense to you. If you were to hook up some kind of scientific doodad that measured frequencies and vibration, you would find that we each vibrate at different frequencies. Okay, you can measure that scientifically. Well, these beings that are incarnating, so kids or young adults, um, they're at a higher frequency, a higher resonance than the rest of us. And the reason for that is the earth, the frequency is actually rising. So the earth resonates at a frequency as well, which can be, it can be played scientifically. They can actually play it like music, the earth frequency. They can pick it up, record it, and then play it as music. So the earth frequency is rising as time goes by. The beings that are incarnating now, since the mid 80s specifically, are, a lot of them resonate at a higher frequency than the rest of us because they're meant to lead and help maintain the earth and be living and guiding and leading this world in the future. So they're already resonating at a frequency that will align with where the earth's frequency is going over the decades. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So because they resonate at this higher frequency, they have to be more evolved beings to get that higher frequency. You get that over when you get wisdom and understanding, and your vibration goes up. And sometimes it's some other things as well. But as these kids incarnate, we have to understand that they're not the same as us. We have to stop expecting them to be just like everybody else who ever came before them, because that's just not going to happen. So these kids are referred to as a catch all phrase. They call them star seed kids. Okay. Now it's really like the five strings of a guitar, because you figure each string resonates at a different vibration or frequency to make the different sound, right? So we had indigos that came in primarily mid 80s and on. The indigo kids resonate at a vibration that's higher than ours, but lower than some of the other ones incarnating. Okay, so the indigo kids, they're like that bass string of the guitar. And then you have the crystal kids that are that next string up. They're a little bit different, similar but different. And then you have star seed, and rainbow. Now, rainbow means something different. Some people think if you've miscarried and have another baby, that's a rainbow baby. That's also considered a rainbow baby, but just a different kind. Okay, these rainbow vibration, they are very very different. There's some of the new ones that are coming in. So if you have a kid, say for instance, I have one that's clearly an indigo, and he had a lot of trouble in the school system because he often knew more than the teachers did. He'd correct them. He wasn't trying to be difficult. Later in life, he was trying to be difficult, let's be real. But earlier in life, he wasn't. And he wouldn't have tried to be difficult later had they handled it better. So they saw him as a smart aleck kid. He was really just trying to participate and communicate. And he was correct. The teachers were wrong at the times that he corrected them. He could have handled it differently, but that's the thing with these kids is they do things the way they have to. He didn't fit well in regular school, but he has a genius IQ. He actually went through school. It was a horrible situation. He made it through. And then he took himself out in a van in Arizona for a year and a half. And he went through online with Khan Academy and some other free educational things. And he educated himself from like first grade on. He went to college. He's got his associates. He's working on his bachelor. He's a welder. Now he's just become a truck driver. Just constantly thing after thing after thing. Now that he's out of the school system and he can do it in a way that works for him, he's just accomplishing all over the place. Now, my other one, I have two boys. My other son is not an indigo, he's a crystal. Crystals are a little more gentle. My indigo is warrior. Boy, they are warriors a lot of times, okay? But they also are very psychic. They definitely have a different communication style, and it varies by child, so I can't say exactly what it is. Different disciplinary needs. I could put him on a timeout, it didn't matter. I would try to discipline him all the way through his life. There was no disciplining that worked. It just didn't matter. He didn't care. So very different. He had to have the desire to make a change. I had to communicate with him like a grown up, even when he was young, because these are very advanced beings. So my younger son is a crystal. That's the next frequency up. Now, one is not more evolved than the other. They're just different. Just like the strings of the guitar, one isn't bad, one good. They're just different. Okay. So my other son, he did better in the school system because he could play the game. They learn how to play the games, even if it doesn't really work for them. They can maneuver, they can that kind of thing, but they never quite feel like they fit in a lot of times. Again, different communication, different discipline, different dietary needs. They different learning styles than the indigos or the others or the rest of us. Okay, everybody's kind of individualized here. And so he also learned to navigate, but it was a little less tumultuous for him because he could kind of play the game with the rest of the world, even though he knew this is not how I do things, but this is how you've got to do it here. Now, then you've got the star and star seed kids. Those you can find a lot of information about. The star seed kids, you can find a lot of information online. They're incredibly psychic. All of these kids are, just in different ways. Now, I know one little girl who is a star seed. So there's star and then star seed. Okay. She's a star seed child. And I remember when she was a baby, she was born and she picked her head up and looked around right after she was born, completely freaked the nurses out. She's assessing the situation. It was like she had been here forever. I was with her during the first 6 months of her life, helping her mom with her new baby, which was just a wonderful joy for me. And if she had a toy in her crib that it had a bunch of different sounds that it could play, and she could just bap it, right, and make the sounds. Well, she was too little to function and hit it. So there was a sound of whales, I think it was, that she really liked more than the others. And so she would telepathically or telekinetically or whatever it was, she would energetically turn on the whale sound for herself. She didn't move, she didn't know how to hit it, she didn't know how to work it, but she would turn it on over and over and over again. They didn't want what you were trying to feed her. She was known to send that plate flying across the room with nothing but her mind. So these are starseed kids. They're probably a little creepy to some people, but It's really just that they're so in tune with the energy around them. That's the thing, is we're out of touch with the energy around us. We don't really know how to work with it, but these are beings coming in that never forgot how to work with it. And so they're just making better use of what is already here than we ever did. And it's really a beautiful experience. And so, you've got the star and star seeds and then rainbows, and rainbows are just a more exaggerated form of the others, right? So when you have kids who maybe are not like the rest of the family, okay, or maybe there's just something a little bit different. They have a really hard time in school. They don't get along with like authority figures. They very often they label these kids ADHD or autistic, and it's really just not the case a lot of times. It's that they're being lazy and just throwing a label on it so that we can shove them in our system and make them fit in the boxes that we want them to fit in. And we medicate the heck out of them so that they just behave the way we want them to. But people aren't really learning what is different about them. Our world is evolving. And so the beings that are incarnating are evolving, just like you are not a caveman, probably, because over time, more evolved beings incarnated. This is just an extension of that. So if you happen to be a parent or a teacher or someone who works with children, and you've got a child or some children that you've got a child or some children that are just different than the others, they seem like a black sheep or something, don't assume that it's a bad thing. Try to get to know them. Try to see what's really going on. Open your mind to the fact that this might be one of these incredible beings. They're not all of the kids, but they're getting to be quite a high number of the kids now. So if you have a child who's seeing, sorry, I'm in Phoenix and I'm not used to the drive, so I'm having a little hard time with the with talking right now. If you have a child who sees spirits or who feels energy, who has tremendous anxiety for no real logical reason, consider that they might be picking up things energetically and feeling it. They may be feeling the cell phone towers and the self-driving cars and the computers, all the electromagnetic stuff that is swimming through the air. Doesn't bother a lot of people, but it will bother them. They have a very difficult time with it, and it shows up as anxiety. A lot of children who are suicidal, who are self-medicating with drugs, alcohol, food, lack of anorexia, sorry, any of these different disorders, these are all signs that something's going on. And a lot of times in our world today, it's that they're very sensitive to the energy, or their needs are not being met. The communication or nutritional aspects of their life are off. It's important to begin understanding these beautiful, beautiful souls that you're being blessed with, that I've been blessed with. It's an interesting thing to parent these kids because the other parents won't understand. The teachers typically won't understand, but you need to understand because you've been entrusted with that beautiful soul. They're not only there for you to raise, but they're there to help you. They're a gift for you. They will bring out things in you you didn't know you had. I know my children did, and it was strictly because they were those kinds of beings. They helped make me a much better teacher, a much better mother, a much better human being, a much better friend. I'm better everything because I allowed them to teach me while I was teaching them. So I hope that you'll consider learning a little bit more about these things. You can look up starseed kids, starseed children, and you can probably find some things online about them. Just I ask that you go with what feels okay to you because, anybody can put anything on the internet. There is a YouTube channel called Spirit Science, and I would encourage you to check that out. It's kind of cartoons, but it explains a lot of this. It explains chakras and energy and reincarnation, all kinds of things, and it's good not just for the kids, but it's good for the parents. I like to have parents watch it with their kids so they can both learn together, and it starts great conversations. So, parenting new age kids is quite a journey, my friends. So, if you happen to have one of those children, buckle up because the ride is going to be amazing. It'll be tumultuous and bumpy and wonderful and miraculous and just all kinds of wonderful things wrapped up into one. So, open your mind a little bit. Visit me at mysticaltruth.com. I really encourage you to start opening your mind. Be a better parent, be a better person. Realize that, wow, these special kids have so much to share with us. We just have to get out of those old concepts of we are the parent, we are right. It's a whole new world. Enjoy it.